Clint Cosgrove, Rivals.com, here with a University of Illinois head football coach, Bret Bielema. Coach, I know it's a busy week. I know it's a big week. I can't thank you enough for coming on to talk Illini football, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I know that, this has been an exciting time for our players, a lot of our fans. As you know, I know you talk to a lot of recruits. I think there's a general buzz that has been created, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, buzz is a great word because – when you came in, this was considered a total rebuild by most, maybe not all, but most. And you found a way to transform a struggling program into a winner at a pretty fast rate. How do you do that, Coach?
I think a big part of it was hiring a good staff. I know that everybody kind of, assumes everybody's going to hire a great staff, but I've been a part of these things, right? I took over at Wisconsin, obviously. For a guy that had been there a long time. But when I transitioned out of Coach Alvarez, I kept 2 or 3 guys, but everybody else was brand new. We won 12 games the next year. And I think a lot of that was staff, right? And then I went to Arkansas and we took over a program that hadn't done much. And 2 years, we took them to 3 straight bowl games, right? So, I've been a little bit down this path, but I just think you get better with time. So our staff has been huge. And then really identifying and letting them decide, right? I kind of put it forward to our guys. Listen, I'm going to invite everybody that's in this room if you want to be a part of it to move forward. But your actions from this day forward will tell me if you want to stay involved. And to be quite honest, we had some guys move off. We had some guys stay and persevere. And now, some of these guys that stayed, I look at Johnny Newton, Keith Randolph, Witherspoon, guys on the defense side of the ball that were holdovers, Palcho at right tackle, who's playing extremely well, and guys like Luke Ford, Chase Brown, some of the guys that are playing at their position as good as possible. And I think they've adopted to us and we've adapted to them. Yeah,
I mean, the buy-in is obvious. The guys who wanted to stay around and knew that they could win under you have done that. They react to your leadership. I thought you guys overachieved last season already, but we've already seen a huge transformation from last season to this. Did you have any idea how special this team could be going into the season?
Clint, and I know you've been around, college football a long time. I'm sure the things that you saw growing up with your dad and everything, sometimes you can tell these things are going to happen just a little bit before everybody else, right? It might be the way they handle their summer, how they interact with each other, how they handle their family business, how they handle maybe adversity off the field. I could tell there were a lot of really positive steps in the right direction. I think when I got done with spring ball, I thought, you know what? We're going to have a good football team. I could see Tommy DeVito have an effect on our offense. I could see our defense continue to grow with Coach Walters and the players that return. I knew special teams was going to be an issue because we lost 3 really good specialists. But really over the course of time, it looked like a group that really understand. They communicated very well with each other as well as us as coaches. And then, it's kind of just been a step-by-step, game-by-game process.
Yeah, I mean, even from the outside, you can feel the gel of the team. You can feel the closeness, just the culture that has been built. And speaking of that, I mean, being an Illinois guy, you're an Illinois guy through and through. I know you played at Iowa, but you've made Illinois recruiting a priority, and that was an uphill battle coming in. A lot of people do not realize that the state had almost been alienated as far as recruiting goes. And after years of, Illinois in-state players maybe seeing Illinois as an afterthought, there's finally a sense that you can stay home and compete for a championship. What makes this Illinois program different under your leadership? And if I'm a top recruit from the state of Illinois, why should Champaign be my destination?
Probably twofold, Clint. I've always believed this. Any great organization I've ever witnessed, right? Whether it was as a player, when I was a coach, really kind of in business opportunities that have come across in my lifetime, great relationships in communities with people. They all really represent one thing, the area that they're from, right? They have to have the support of the people that are around them. And I made it a very clear statement in my opening presser to where we are today. If you're from the state of Illinois and you can help us win championship games in the football world, we're going to want to be around you. That, I think, coupled with just, engaging the high school or the person that could make a difference, right? An athletic director, an assistant coach, a principal, a teacher, whatever it is, And then I think the other factor, as we start to win more and more and the opportunities, in recruiting, you can't promise NIL deals. You can't give them opportunities that this is what they're going to get. But what we can do is talk about the things our players are getting now, right? And literally in the last, I would say probably 2 to 3 weeks, approved hundreds of thousands of dollars in NIL deals that are coming to our student athletes on our current campus. And that just comes back tenfold, right? Now we have an offensive lineman that comes in and he sees, Zy Chrysler, a guy that came in a year ago, and he's driving a new car, right? He's getting a monthly NIL deal that allows him to do things that maybe college football players at one point could never dream of, right? And all of our linemen, offensively and defensively, have secured some pretty NIL deals that, because the outside world knows the O-line and D-line play is important to me. That's been important to our NIL directive and our program, and hopefully that's going to continue to pay dividends.
Yeah, I mean, you're known for a tough brand of football, physical brand of football. Makes sense that the NIL would want to direct it towards your linemen, the guys getting it done and, battling every day. I've had a number of friends play for you, but I've also had a number of friends coach with you. And I know your mindset. You have a championship mindset, Coach. I'm pretty sure you've got your eyes on at least a Big Ten West title. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I just know the way you approach the game and believe in your team. What is it going to take for this team to achieve its goals this season? And is there any limits to what you guys can accomplish as a team?
Clint, it's a great question. So when I first came here, literally the first time I ever met with a team was, and I showed them that over the last 5 years, the two teams that had represented the Big Ten West in the title game was twice for Northwestern and 3 times for Wisconsin. And then this year, obviously, Iowa last year, we made that point, before the season started. So now to play Wisconsin and beat them, to beat Iowa, those are two teams that we haven't beaten since 1989 in the same year. Probably before you were born, and I was 19 years old. Yeah. And then, I think for me as a coach, as a staff, we've had to grow too, right? Like our O-line, D-line has always been important. But, on the flip side of it, I had 2 receivers in a game where we rushed for 100 and 2 receivers went for over 100 with 10 catches. Literally the next week, boom, 2 NIL deals for those guys, $5 to $10 grand a piece, right? Like, it's just people want to be around the players and be around the guys that make a difference. So I think growing as a coach has been a big part of that. Knowing that the Big Ten West, this week Minnesota comes. They're a team that a lot of people have targeted as a potential Big Ten West champion. We played them a year ago. They're a very good football team. So this week, head-to-head against Minnesota is another step, hopefully, in the right direction.
For sure. You talk about development as a coach. I've seen you grow and obviously change and adapt and evolve over the years. And I want to finish with this because as a coach's kid, it was really cool for me to see when your wife and kids came on the field after the Wisconsin win, and your daughters are absolutely adorable. Just having a family and kids, I mean, has that changed the way you approach everything?
It most definitely has. It's a perspective, until someone sees the birth of their own child and, holds them in their arms. And literally, there's nobody more excited. The only night I get home on Thursday night to put them to bed during the course of the week, I don't get to do it any other night of the week. I literally pretty much don't see my daughters from Sunday morning. I'll wake them up, and then I don't see them until Thursday night. So those moments are precious. You probably noticed too. My wife probably is a good indicator I can recruit, right? So like I've been able.
Oh yeah, no question about it.
It's fun. It probably gives me a grounding when I've talked to parents that I've recruited their men to our program. I'll literally say, hey, listen, I have 2 baby girls that I love to death. I know the most important, precious piece of anything that you have in your home every day is not any coat. It's not your car, your house, your boat, your whatever. It's your children, right? They represent who you are, and you invest in them on a daily basis. And to have 118 young men in our program that I can tell those parents, I'm going to treat your son just like I treat my daughter with everything I do to make them the best they can be every day. That makes a big difference in the end.
For sure. Well, I'm so happy for you, for your family, Coach. Best of luck this week. I know it's a big one, and I'll be following. But hopefully we talk soon, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much, Clint. Great to be on, man. ILL.